10 kings and the beast will hate the whore and burn her with fire. Can't even make that stuff up. It came out of nowhere. After I pushed record, talking about fire. What is the beast? Well, the beast is the system itself. Beast. AI is a system. AI, along with the 10 kings that run it. And then, what's the whore? Because you have the whore and you got the beast. And it's never just one thing, but it's somebody just like the beast, the dragon, the false prophet. There's many false prophets. There's many antichrists. There's just many of everything. But there's a head, the leader of the pack. Just like there's Satan. There's Satan as the fall of Lucifer, and then somebody takes the seat as Satan. The only way Satan gets bound is when his seat gets taken. He's not just going to give it up. It has to be taken from him. So that's like the whore system. The whore gets burned up because God is the one that puts it into the hearts and minds of those 10 kings, along with the beast, to destroy the whore. The whore's already been judged. She's been judged. And the way that the Bible is, it's like the Bible. It's there's a 7-year period that it's talking about. And then there's another 7-year period that it's talking about. And all the stories in the Bible just remind me of the same thing. When David was hiding from Saul, according to the world script, Stephen James fits the role of playing David because Saul, Jonathan Clegg, is really the gang-stalking leader, but then David's the one that was able to number the people, so he has an army himself. And then the one is following after the other one, but at the same time it's all script too. So everybody that's acting like they don't know what's happening, they do know what's happening because it's a script. However, the script can flip when the truth arrives and starts to dominate and take over. Things can literally change. I just thought at some point it's all a script and there's already a Jesus in play that in the end he's going to turn things into good anyway. But then I realized, well maybe you need to stand up and start speaking up in order to try to change things yourself. So that's how it looks, where Saul and Jonathan, I said that prior, that it seems like maybe there's two there's a Saul and a Jonathan on the Jonathan Collect channel, because the one is like, you know, the David in the system that already signed the contract. Maybe there's a light David and a dark David in the system, and then David in spirit also comes along, and then the one that's acting like David in the system, acting like he's running from Saul, he's really Saul, chasing the David in spirit, but in the script he's David, you know, Saul being chased by Saul in Paul Trump in the system. So nevertheless, all the stories sound the same. Just like Saul, who, that's why I titled the video yesterday. Saul was persecuting Christ, but Paul didn't appear until like a year or so after, you know, like 18 months after the crucifixion, which means Peter was there first. So when Jonathan Kleck was pointing towards himself as Peter and being on the rock, and upon this rock I will build my church, well, Christ was talking about himself. He wasn't talking about Peter. So there's that. He said, upon this rock, not that rock. He said, destroy this temple, not that temple, and I'll build it in 3 days. After 3 years, a day is a year. Destroy it, and after 3 years, he's going to raise it up again. And that's exactly what took place already. Now, of course, people are going to try to play out as if Jesus didn't die yet, and then try to pick somebody and go crucify him. Or, you know, fear porn. Fear, 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 fear. I feel sorry for you, Robin Hood. Roll you shills. You're in deep, 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 deep trouble. And then on the flip side, to let me know it's all a script. By the way, Robin, nerd, I love you. Just don't listen to Israeli News Live when he says, if there's a reptilian hand that's acting like he's not your friend again, don't listen to it. I mean, listen to him. Because either way, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. If I was meant to just be destroyed and stay destroyed, my channel would have been destroyed. They would have gotten rid of it already. They wouldn't have they wouldn't have allowed me to keep spewing my garbage year after year. But Stephen James will lie to you and say that I'm going to continue until the indignation is finished. Well, no, that's not a lie, but who's the indignation? That I'm going to continue on because, you know, they want me to spew my garbage, lying nonsense on YouTube. That's what he'll tell you, if you're dumb enough to believe it. I don't even know who he's trying to convince still, but maybe he's just, maybe Saul. Maybe he doesn't want Jonathan Kleck to really think he's on my side, but, you know, the beast and the 10 kings, they're going to hate the whore because God already put it in their hearts. So as soon as that day happens, I guess none will come to his help. Who's his help? Wouldn't that be the Antichrist? I heard it was Paul. And what I heard was Peter was there at the crucifixion and they released Barabbas. Now, Barabbas, I'm not certain, but it just seems like when they released Barabbas, because remember, he was the one that was supposed to be crucified. However, he was set free because Christ set him free, because they chose him to be set free and to crucify Christ, with the two thieves on each side. But really, Barabbas was supposed to be the one that was crucified, but then he got set free. Now, when Paul changed from Saul to Paul, I mean, he must have been one old dude, like he must have been hundreds of years old, because apparently when he was Saul, he was chasing after David, and then all of a sudden he became Paul, and then right before that, Christ just got crucified. So right at Saul's transformation, right after, Christ was crucified, but yet when he was Saul, he was chasing King David. You see the difference in years and time, and because it's all the same time. That's why. It's all Old Testament, New Testament, blended right in together. So it was about 18 months or so after the crucifixion when Christ started to torment Paul. But at some point he was saying, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And then I said that seemed like the Johnathan David channel, because there was it seemed like there was a couple different personalities. Because either way on that channel, there's been, whether it's two different people or it's just Johnathan David being double-minded and basically just acting, really, if you're evil continually, then the only thing is you've just been acting nice and kind-hearted and as if you repented and turned your ways and all that stuff. It's just all fake, and it's an acting spiel. Or it's really one day you feel like that, because I understand. I even still I have my irritated tone of voice because maybe I am a little bit, but I don't always recognize it as I'm doing it. But I'll re-listen to videos and I'll see, okay, I was irritated right at that moment. I need to work on that. But there's nothing fake over here in this channel. It's just the way I feel about things. The whole world is a play. There's a bunch of people just faking it all over the place. The world is just an illusion. What I'm trying to do is get people to be true to themselves. It's true. If you're evil, well then just stay evil. Stay evil continually. Don't pretend that you're nice and kind, because it's fake. The fakery is what people that are fake, they're really scared to be true because it frightens them. You're afraid to just be yourself, whoever yourself is. That's why everybody's wearing masks behind the scenes. But then it's also a script that's supposed to be played out until the indignation is fulfilled. So in my case, in my life, when I went through that word crucifixion on 3/2/2018, 11 months in on my YouTube career and a day, 111. Okay. Alrighty then. Must have something in the middle of this. So when I did that, and I was left for dead in the spirit world, right around June of the next year. So it was within a year and some change, a year or so later, I came across Johnathan Click. And then what I sensed with Johnathan Click was, somebody that's saying the Lord this and the Lord that told me this and that, when I don't think the Lord told him anything. And it's all set up, pretend acting scene. But then as time went on, I started to think, well, maybe what's going on here is when Johnathan Click is saying the Lord is showing him this and that, he must be talking about the same Lord that's showing me this and that. So he's talking about the Spirit in heaven, the same one that I came in the name of. But then I would see him praying up to the ceiling, and I would say he probably has a mirror up there. He's like praying to himself as if he's the Lord God. Or even the Son of Man, where his Father is the one in charge, the Lord Satan of the earth. Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. And then it's like they were probably just sitting there waiting for the moment. This is the way this world is. Bunch of people wasting their time, their life, because Satan makes them do just completely irrelevant, unnecessary acts all day long, just so he can get excited that they're bowing down to him. So I've stuck with Johnathan Click regardless of what he's doing. I still love you, Johnathan Click, and I do see through a lot of it, because I've been on your case since 2019 of June, heavily, and with all the things that have been revealed, yeah, don't worry about it. You can just go through the stop sign. It doesn't matter. I'm not in a hurry anyway. With everything that was done and shown and communicated back and forth with, I think you're way more intelligent and smart to know, along with knowing what Scripture is, that it doesn't last very long. Even if you were still just taking it to the very end, as if, the 10 kings aren't gonna turn on you. The Antichrist is the one who is in place of Christ. It's the one who, it's Saul, Paul. But then again, where is Paul's children after Saul? Because Saul has his children, Jonathan and the others that were killed him out, Gilboa. But when it talks about Paul, it doesn't really, did it even say he has children? I still question that if it's even the same person. Or maybe it's Paul turns into, maybe Paul is one of Saul's kids or something. At some point I'll find out. But in the meantime, hit or miss, hot or cold. And like I said earlier, if I'm wrong about something, I'll be glad to stand corrected. But if I'm right about Barabbas and will a real Barabbas please stand up, and then if I'm right, I'll get threats and I'll get, it's just, if you don't believe me, what's in store for you is just, I feel sorry for you, and all that nonsense I've heard from my kid's mom. It's just, I've heard it all. None of it phases me. It doesn't work. There's no fear going on. I've already dealt with these things. I'll deal with some more. Whatever happens in the end. I already won. I just got to walk it out. I already see the the end result from the people that are all involved communicating with all these kings of the earth, you think they're all just going to be silent and just let the whore continue on, or burn her with fire? It's like, sometimes I think, I wonder if they're trying to block the road on purpose, just so you can scratch your rims on the curb. No, Robin. Not everything is like that. Not everybody is a gang stalker. They don't all worship Satan. Not everybody worships Satan, Robin, because you don't. Basically, it's like this. Whoever has the Spirit of God in them, when you come across somebody like myself who's trying to figure things out, and you surveil me day in and day out, and you know what I do, you're not going to be so threatening to me if the Spirit of God is in you. But you also could still, because Stephen James has that, he's still pretending that, what he's pretending about me. He'd spent all his entire past 5 years, 75% of the videos is about me. So why would you waste your time for all those years if I'm just some nobody, rat from the inside, CIA snitch? Well, why? Why would somebody waste their time? I wouldn't waste my time on Johnathan Click if I didn't think he had say in how the planet is being ran in a negative way. Yeah, blame Stephen James for being the head Luciferian United States gang stalker in America towards me, but I'm not naive to think that Johnathan Click doesn't have his hand in it also, as at least one of the Sauls, because in the Bible it does say Saul, Saul. But two Sauls can be at two different timelines, two different dispositions, 3.5 years in between. Saul, Saul. I caught one Saul in the beginning who's acting like David, as if Saul's chasing him, and then I come across the other Saul towards the end that, that is the case. I come against one Saul, Stephen James, and then I come against another Saul, Johnathan Click, between two different timelines, because both timelines are playing it out. Because when the Christ Spirit, when you own up to the Christ Spirit, then everybody's going to turn against you, and that's what everybody did. So, there's that. But there's also Paul, the real Paul, and then there's Paul, the fake apostle Paul. There's one that's acting like Paul, but it's really just fake altogether. That's how I perceive it. Look, Psycho. Psycho's backing up just for me to see it. Psycho.